Hello again everybody, I hope you're all keeping well. As always, at this time of year, I'm getting beds cleared, ready for the winter time. It's a long and lengthy process, it's going to take me many weeks, but I've made a start on it now, getting stuff cleared. There's a few other jobs which I need to do as well at the moment, and those are planting my garlic. I always plant my garlic at this time of year. I'll show you how I do that in a moment. And I'm planting a load of overwintering brassicas into the polytunnel in these 30-litre buckets. I grew potatoes in them buckets this year, but when I harvested those potatoes, I kept the soil. I never throw soil away, I always reuse it if I can. I kept the soil in the buckets, and rather than let them go fallow over the winter, I'm going to be planting the overwintering brassicas into them. So what brassicas do we actually have? Well, we've got plenty of them. We've got some lovely Black Tuscany kale plants there. They look really good, really nice. Look at those. We've got 6 of those in that tray there. We've got some purple sprouting broccoli, quite a few of those actually, purple sprouting broccoli. Those are really healthy looking plants. I planted these at the end of July, I think it was the end of July. Yeah, end of July I planted these. So these have had about 2 months growth on them. We've also got some winter cabbages as well. They look brilliant, really nice size as well. We've got a few of those too. These are going to be really good late winter, early spring when nothing else is really growing. They're going to help fill the hunger gap. So we've also got even more purple sprouting broccoli. Yep, we've got tons of that. One of my favourites to overwinter. Purple sprouting broccoli is a really productive one. You plant it in the summer and it will give you lovely harvests of purple sprouting broccoli in the spring. I've got more of those there, really healthy plants. The idea was to sow these in July, get them to the point where they can be transplanted on around late August, early September. And I only planted these on a few weeks ago and already they've really shot up. And we've also got some all year round cauliflower as well. They look really good too. So really healthy plants. I'm super happy with how these are done. There's plenty of them, so plenty to see us through the winter. I'm going to be planting these in 30-litre buckets in the polytunnel. The logic behind that is they're going to grow quicker because it'll be warmer in there and they'll get a head start early next year. They'll be protected from the hard frost during the winter, so I'm less likely to lose these. They'll be protected from the birds as well. The polytunnel will sort of act as like netting, if you will, so the birds won't be able to get to these because they'll absolutely destroy these brassicas. The pigeons will go in on them and completely destroy them. And there's also the added benefit of better drainage. The soil in my allotment is quite heavy clay and we have very wet winters in the UK, so there's a risk that the ground could waterlog and I could lose these as well. So with them being grown in buckets in the polytunnel, it's going to be much drier, better drainage as well, and I'll probably have much more success. I can't believe that we're already in autumn. This growing season has been a very funny season indeed, and it honestly feels like things only just started growing in August. That's when most of the harvests started coming in August. We're still harvesting quite a few things now, but things are slowing down now and we're packing up for the winter. It feels like the growing season hasn't really given us that much time really. Things didn't really get going till the end, so you know, as soon as things started growing, it's time to pack everything up again. So here we are. So let's get right into it. last year I had to go and buy some garlic from the garden centre to plant because we had a pretty poor garlic harvest last year and we didn't have any cloves left over to plant, so we had to go and buy some. This year though, thankfully, we've had a pretty decent garlic harvest really. We did have a few small cloves, small bulbs, but we did have some decent ones, and the best looking bulbs are saved, and I've separated the cloves there to plant. So this year we're completely self-sufficient with garlic. We've got tons of the stuff, so that is really good stuff. Anyway, what I do with my garlic is at the end of September, so now, I plant them in these module trays here. And what I do is I let them get to a few inches tall, and then I plant them out around about a month or so later. At the end of October, I'll plant them outside, or I'll plant them in the polytunnel, wherever I'm planting them for the winter. It's probably going to be the polytunnel this time round though, because I've found that they grow so much better in the polytunnel. It's much better soil quality in there as well. In the polytunnels I've got raised beds, and it's better draining, so I end up with better results, but it's also going to be milder in there as well, so I'll have quicker growth. So yeah, there's always going to be benefits. I also don't have as much of a problem with rust either. So I'm just filling these module trays up with multi-purpose compost, nothing crazy at all, nothing fancy. So I've got my modules there which I'm going to plant my garlic in, and all I'm doing is sticking them in these modules like this. That is it. Now, I don't know what variety of garlic these are. I have no idea. I think some of them are pink Germador, some of them are white Casablanca, and some other ones are some shop bought garlic which I grew last year. I grew these really big bulbs. I got these big bulbs from the supermarket. They were grown in China, and I just got them as an experiment and planted them, and we had some pretty decent bulbs from them. So there's some of those as well, so it's a mixture of different varieties. I'm not really bothered, to be honest. Garlic's garlic. I'm sure they're going to grow fine and we'll get a good crop. Okay, so that's 100 garlic cloves planted there. That should be enough, I think. I'm going to give them a good water now. And within just a few weeks, these will be big enough to go into their final growing position for the winter, which is going to be the polytunnel. And this has cost me absolutely nothing, just a bit of compost. Absolutely nothing. 100 garlic plants. And yeah, just from this year's harvest, so that's brilliant. Completely self-sufficient with garlic there. This should give us a nice crop next year, hopefully. Okay, so I've planted my winter brassicas in the polytunnel, I've planted my garlic, and I've also cleared loads of beds around the allotment. I've done loads of clearing, so I'm quite happy with the progress I've made this week clearing for winter. I've switched it over to my mobile phone now. I'm going to record with that because I found it's much easier walking around the allotment with my mobile phone than my camera. It's much less shaky, because I'm going to go around and show you what I'm doing around the plot, because there's a few improvements that I'm wanting to make for next year. I'll explain more on that later, but there's going to be a lot of winter projects I'm doing on my plot. I'll show you the new plot as well. That is pretty much done really. There's only a couple of things to do over the winter, so there's less work to do with that, but I'm going to focus a lot of work in improving my existing allotments, and I'm going to show you that now. And I'll just show you how the plot's looking. Now we're in October, it is looking a little bit messy, and I'm going to show you how it really is. Completely raw footage, unedited. So yeah, but it is a little bit of a mess, as it always is at this time of year. But anyway, let's go. Okay, so we'll start off on the new allotments. If you've been following my updates over the last month or two, you'll see what we've been doing on this plot. It was an absolute mess back in August when we took it on. It was really bad, but we've made good progress with it now. We did make a mistake of getting the 1 metre wide membrane. We should have really got the 3 or 4 metre wide stuff, because we've had to overlap it and put loads of pegs in to stitch it all together. That was a big mistake, and I suppose it's not a massive deal because we are going to be putting raised beds and stuff and buckets on top of this, and wood chip paths as well. So it's going to stay in place, I think, and we are going to put more pegs in place, like over here. We need to get more pegs. At the moment it's just bricks temporarily holding them down, but yeah, there's a little bit more membrane to put on this side, on my mum's side. Over here, this is my side. This is where my potato buckets are going to be going next year. I'll probably fit 40 of them on here, maybe, probably more than that actually. And then we're going to have these pallet compost bays around here as well, around this border. I've already made a start with one. I've just made a quick one at the moment. I haven't finished this. It's just because I had so much green waste to get rid of. I chucked it all in here. I am going to stick brown material in there as well. This is just a temporary holding place. I need to put some sort of chicken wire around it or something. It's not finished yet, but that's just a temporary measure. So yeah, new plot. Currently looks quite bare at the moment, but I think most of the work's done. Most of the work was clearing it and then getting this membrane down. The rest of it's just going to be raised beds on my mum's side, pallet compost bays here, and my potato buckets here. Really simple plot. Shouldn't be too much work over the winter, I don't think. Should be pretty simple. But anyway, we'll move on to my plot and show you how it's looking. And yeah, it's looking quite bare at the moment, to be honest. A lot of beds have been cleared, as you've seen before. Our cabbages have been cleared. I need to clear this bed. They're all finished. The last couple of cabbages I harvested were full of worms and full of slugs. We have got a bit more beetroot here. I'm not going to multi-sow them next year because I found that they take too long to grow. I'm going to actually plant them individually and space them apart to get nice big bulbs. Got an empty bed here. We've got our overwintering leeks in here. I need to de-weed this bed, but they are growing slowly but surely. Yeah, they're coming along okay. I've had some trouble with leeks this year. I'm not too sure why. They keep bolting. We've got a few more carrots in here. Carrots have been amazing this year. I've had the best year ever for carrots. There's still a few more in there. I've got a couple of pumpkins here actually in this bed. It's just slowly starting to ripen, that one. We have another one over here which isn't a full size. That's the Crown Prince. We've got a courgette plant as well, which is still trying to produce some courgettes. I cleared the other couple of them over there. This is the only one left amongst all this jungle. Of course, as you saw before, we've done a lot of clearing over here. This area is going to be revamped. This is where our runner beans were. I need to clear these bamboo canes. But all this border here rotted away. It was just used wood, which I used. And we've gotten 5 years out of it though, so it's not done too bad. But I think I'm going to make a new border around here. Just redo this area because it is looking a bit messy. Greenhouse, of course, that's been cleared. Lots of empty space. More cleared beds. I think we've got most of the plot cleared, to be honest. So we're not in a bad position really for this time of year. I think we're where we should be. Now, my idea for improvements over the winter, because I found that over the last 5 years having this allotment, most of the produce and most of the successful crops have come from raised beds. The problem with the ground here is it's very heavy clay. Any time that I try growing most crops in the open ground, they do struggle quite a lot and growth can be quite slow at times, especially in the winter. Now, raised beds, on the other hand, I've always had really good crops from raised beds. And the good thing about raised beds is it's better drainage, and you're able to put your own compost or your own soil in there, so it's much more loose. So that's a big benefit of having raised beds. I much prefer growing in raised beds, and I'm going to be converting most of my allotment into no-dig raised beds in the coming months, I think. That is the plan. And what I'm going to be doing here, because I've got all these wood chip paths. Now, I've got all these wood chip paths around my allotment, which I've been adding to over the last 5 years, and as you can see, they're very deep. That's like 3 or 4 inches deep there. I've just scooped a little bit up just to see the condition of it, and as you can see, it's broken down quite a bit. It's very wet. Now, my original plan was to add all this wood chip to the pallet compost bays and compost it, because there's a good few tons of wood chip around the allotment. If you were to gather it all up, there's going to be loads of it. But I'm going to be doing something different with it. I'm still going to be making it into compost, but via a different route. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be probably, not 100% yet, but this is my idea at the moment, adding these wood chips to the raised beds which I'm going to be making. And that way it'll be much cheaper with topsoil. I'll probably use a bit of horse manure for the bottom as well. A little bit controversial though. I am a bit scared of using horse manure, but I think to line the bottom of the beds it should be okay, because by the time it's broken down, if there's anything in it, it should be okay. And then I'll just top it off with topsoil. So that's my plan with raised beds. But where am I going to be putting these raised beds? Well, I'll show you quickly. My idea is to have 2 raised beds here, one there and one there, probably around 1.5 meters, maybe 2 meters long by about 1.2 meters wide, possibly. I'm going to try and have them the same size as the existing beds to make it a bit easier. So I want to have 2 beds here. I'm going to remove these old pallet collars, because these are about 5 years old now and they're rotting. This old herb bed, I'll remove that, and another pallet collar there, I'll remove that too. And create a narrow bed down here, possibly. Some sort of new bed around here, which is going to be raised as well. We already have one raised bed here. It's very old pallet collar wood. So I think this is just a temporary bed with our leeks in. Our leeks are doing quite well actually, by the way. We've already picked a few of these. My plan is to also possibly put 2 more raised beds here as well. One here and one here. Maybe 3 of them, depending on how big I decide to make them. Because this soil here is also very heavy indeed. Look at how heavy that is. We grew our onions in this year, and I don't mind getting my hands dirty. Now, you know your soil is heavy clay if you roll it in a ball and it's smooth like that and it sticks together very easily. Look at that. Over the last 5 years I've been putting horse manure in this bed and it's still really heavy clay. Yeah, our onions didn't do very well in here this year. So raised beds seems to be the way that I'm going to be going. There's not much to report over here. Just our fruit trees. I may put another one here, possibly, and that will also be next to our 2 others. So there'll be 3 raised beds here. This has had our carrots in. Another carrot bed. These have done really well as well. Now, we've also got a plan with the strawberry cage. I explained this in a video a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be growing my strawberries in buckets in here this year because, again, heavy clay soil. So I think I can fit 20 or so buckets in here and grow strawberries in. We haven't had any crop from these strawberry plants this year. They've not done well at all. So that is the plan there. I'm going to remove all these plants, keep the membrane in there and put buckets on top with strawberry plants in. So we're slowly converting the allotment to no dig. I think no dig, raised beds, We already have quite a lot of raised beds, but the things that have been growing in the ground this year haven't done very well at all. Okay, let's have a quick look in the small polytunnel and see what's going on in here. Now, our butternut squashes have done so well this year. I'm really happy with them. I say they've done really well. For me, you know, relative to how they usually do, they've done really well. We picked a lovely butternut squash the other day from here. This was really nice. It was huge, much bigger than what I usually grow. So I think the secret here is growing them in the polytunnel. They do so much better in the polytunnel, but I also think because this bed's slightly raised and it's, you know, it's really good soil as well, I think that was also another factor that made these do better. In the past, I've grown them in the open ground in quite heavy soil and they've not done well. So I think soil and growing them in the polytunnel has done really well. We've got a few more there, got one there. We've got 3 of them there. We've got a couple more dotted around everywhere. There's loads of them. A lot of them are rotting though. So maybe we've reached the limit of how many we've grown here. Now, I'm not too sure how the sweet potatoes have done. I don't think they've done anything, to be honest. I don't think we're going to really get much of a crop. I don't know when to dig these up, but I think I can see something in there. It doesn't look very big, but it's the beginning of October now, so it's only a matter of time before we get frost. I think we've only got a couple of weeks before we get some cold nights that are going to kill these off. So, you know, time's ticking now. Time is really ticking. The growing season is coming to an end. So things in here don't have long left. We've had quite a few of these honeymoon tomatoes. We still have a few left. That one's starting to turn. I'm going to be growing more of these next year because these have done brilliant. They've not had any blight on them. The rest of the polytunnel is a little bit of a mess. The physalis here has just gone wild. Not too sure if I'm going to grow physalis again next year because we've only just really started getting these little lanterns, and yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near being ready. And of course, we're very late in the growing season, so I don't think we'll get anything off these. It's a little bit of a jungle. It's taken up a lot of space, so I don't know what I'm going to do there next year with that. I don't think I'll do them again. Aubergines, there's some aubergines here. Absolutely nothing on those. Oh no, wait, actually, yeah, there is. Oh, we do have something there. Okay, we have a little tiny aubergine there. Got a couple more little tiny ones actually, so okay, there is something. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I didn't know that was growing. Isn't that good? Right, okay, so we have gotten something from these in the end. These hadn't produced anything up until now. I'm probably only going to grow one aubergine plant next year in a container. We've got too much here. More sweet potatoes here as well. We'll see. In a couple of weeks we'll try digging these up and see if we've got anything, but probably not. But we may be surprised. We will see. Our Pikes Peak sunflower has been attacked by something, which is a pain. But I mean, it's grown to a really good size. Look at that. Our only sunflower that grew this year, because all the rest of them got attacked by the slugs. So I don't know what to do next year with sunflowers. It's a shame because we always have trouble with slugs. Maybe, I don't know. If you've got any ideas of how to keep the slugs off the sunflowers, let me know, because I really do struggle with it every year. I mean, look, they've even stripped these, and this is like 6 feet off the ground, and the slugs have still managed to get to them. How have they done that? And they've actually stripped all these off. Most of the leaves up to about 6 feet have been stripped off by the slugs. Absolutely insane. It's leaning over a little bit, that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be really careful here with these parsnips because the other week I brushed my arm along these and some of the sap must have got onto my arm and burnt my arm a little bit there. You can see them marks. Yeah, they got really itchy and they blistered as well. And I'm definitely I'm going to put it down to parsnips, because the sap can irritate the skin and burn the skin. They look really well though. They're looking really good. I'm really tempted to dig one of these up actually. I don't know whether I should or not. Should I dig one up and have a look at what we've got? Yep, I think we're going to dig one up and see what we've got. We've got loads of them here, and this one looks like a pretty good size. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, not huge, but a decent size, medium. We've got plenty more, so we'll let these grow a bit bigger, and when we get some cold weather, these will start to get sweeter as well. But yeah, that's our first parsnip. Not too bad at all, really. It's a reasonable size, nice and straight. Okay, big polytunnel. I've already shown you these brassicas for overwintering. They're doing great there. On this side, we still have peppers to clear. We do have a few little peppers still growing there. They're probably not going to grow any bigger than this. They most certainly are not going to ripen now. Okay, we'll have a look in the big greenhouse. There's not that much going on in here. I did clear the tomatoes this week from here because they'd finished. I picked the green ones, took them home to try and ripen them. We've got a few spare brassicas here in case we lose some. Nothing crazy going on there. We've got our garlic, which of course we planted a few days ago as well. Already starting to show signs of life. Look at that. We've got some spring onions, which we need to transplant as well. 4 more buckets of carrots to hopefully harvest by Christmas. Hopefully. We should have some nice carrots for Christmas to eat with our parsnips. They're looking quite nice. A few tops starting to show there. Same in this one as well. Looks like they've done quite well actually. Yeah, I think we'll get some decent small carrots. I think they're not going to be huge, I don't think. Light levels are dropping now, so they're going to start slowing down. But yeah, we've definitely got some crop here to harvest. As for the rest of the greenhouse, we've got spinach there, which we've already picked a little bit of, but it looks like we're going to have some more to pick soon because they're doing quite well. So we're still growing things even into the autumn and winter months. We're not wasting time. We're getting crops harvested still. We're not wasting space. There's plenty of things which are growing over winter. You know, overwintering brassicas, spring onions, spinach, lettuce, garlic, various different things like that which we're growing. We've also got strawberries here from runners. We've got about 30 of them here. And of course, these are going to be growing in the buckets in the strawberry cage next year. Little strawberry cage revamp. And we are going to be buying some new varieties to plant, some bare root varieties, but we're also going to be growing what we've already got here as well. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, be sure to check this video out as well. I hope you all stay safe, happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next one.